Welcome, everyone. First off, I want to say thanks so much for giving this thing a try. Skills, Scars, and Stories, Episode 1. My very first guest today is a good friend and man. His name's Adam Hartle. He is a financial planning analyst, a professional entrepreneur, a dad, a husband, a coach, a part-time livestock caretaker, just an all-around good guy. I think this episode's going to be pretty awesome and you guys should enjoy it. And as promised, the first episode lives up to the raw, real life I was shooting for, as we had to cut it a little bit short, and we're going to try to get Adam back on to kind of finish things up. But I figured I would get this thing posted and let you see where we went. So enjoy.
Little boots sitting on that old shop stool, watching every move they see. There's a story in the scars on my knuckles.
Well, everybody, this is my first podcast ever. We're going to give it a try. My guest today is Adam Hartle. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me and being the first victim on the podcast. I know quite a bit about you. Still don't know everything, but the people out there, you want to just give them a quick rundown, like what's Adam's family life like? What do you do for a living? Stuff like kids. What keeps you busy? Everything else.
Keeps me busy. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on. You get to be your virgin start interview, and you get to be my virgin first podcast. So,
I mean, hey, I know you said you were thinking about doing one a while ago and just didn't get around to it. So I was like, well, this will be perfect.
There you go.
A couple people actually recommended me. They're like, you know who you need to get? You need to get Adam. He'd be really good on
I
this
don't know about that.
podcast.
I'm going to take their names and talk to them later. But no, so we got three boys, 15, 12, and 9, and very active. They they sports, baseball. They're in hockey season right now. We got one that plays high school hockey. He's a freshman, and then we have another one that plays travel hockey on 2013 level, so 12U. And then our youngest did play hockey. Didn't want to play more. We're like, hey, that's fine, no big deal. I'm not going to force you to do it. And so he wanted something else. I'm like, that's fine. So he's actually going to try lacrosse in the spring.
Oh, that's fun.
Along with he likes to play baseball too. So there's that. But some more about me. Been married with my wife. Oh boy, probably should have wrote this down ahead of time. 2007. We got married on 7/7/7. So coming up on almost 20 years in next year. So 19 years. 19 years in July. So
exciting. Do you got anything planned for a 20-year getaway or anything special?
I'm sure there's a baseball tournament going on. So that usually dictates a lot of our schedule. So.
Yeah. We had our anniversary. Our 20-year anniversary was 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, and it was during baseball season. And we ended up just waiting and going like 2 months after baseball was done. We're like, this is our anniversary. We just got to plan it out. But
mark it all out and call it good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. So
what do you do for a living? Like your main job besides dad and driving around in sports and everything else?
I like to say I'm a professional entrepreneurial failure, I guess. I try a lot of things. A lot of things don't work out.
Yeah.
It's kind of my I guess my side gig trying to get something going. But officially, my full-time job is I do FP&A, financial planning analysis for distribution companies or companies in general. So kind of what that entails is I data mine their numbers, their databases, sales, customer lists, try to pick out, basically compiling financial reports, and then, for lack of a better word, I try to find more money, how to make more money, savings, and forecasting in terms of cash flow. So if we got X amount of dollars coming in, this is how much we have going out the door. Make sure we have the cash flow to sustain more operations. Yeah, and then I do budgets, create the budgets for each year. So that's kind of
That's a lot of numbers.
That's a lot of numbers. It was
a lot of numbers and math.
Yeah, and that's part of with AI coming to fruition here with a lot of things, it's on the dock of, it's not it's fairly easy. We input data into an AI system, we can get information back. It does it all for you. So it's one of those like job securities. Kind of
you don't know. You don't know if it's. Yeah. On the flip side of things, can you use some of that to help you with what you're doing right now? Do you ever like type in that stuff? And
so there's a lot that the company is trying to get implemented due to like legal reasons, right? I get confidentiality for the company. I can't go out and put stuff into like ChatGPT or any of that stuff to see if it, get answers, because those are private numbers. So none of that can go in there. I haven't
into the public.
So I mean, there's stuff out there you can probably do. I've asked simple questions in general terms of like, hey, for XYZ company, give me 10 reasons of new income stream avenues, or how to earn more through this method or whatever it is, right? And then try to build on there. But it is more of a business to business operation, not a business to consumer. So you can only do so much, right? You can only advertise so much to what they're selling. So
right. With your job, and I know that you went to college. You went to Siena, right? So did you get your degree in finance or like accounting, or what was your degree, or did it like change and you're just in this field now?
Yeah, it was my official degree is a bachelor's in business administration.
Okay.
Like managing businesses, right? I was in high school, I had a car audio business that I would sell speakers and amps and
bins. That was awesome.
That was the time of Fast and Furious coming out. So everybody wanted to deck out cars and have the loudest music to make your
subwoofers.
The subwoofers to make your license plate rattle on your trunk, and it was all good.
Right.
Did that. Didn't really do a whole lot with it, but I mean, it was something for a high schooler to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't making tons of money, but probably made a couple $1,000 a year. It wasn't anything special. It was just something cool. Like, oh yeah, I can get this cheaper than
whatever
I normally would. And then in college, I had a rock climbing wall and snow cone machine. So my now wife, we would go to like fairs and festivals during the summer, and we were, lack of a better word, we were carnies for the summer.
Yeah.
So we were there for about 2-3 months during the summer, and then during the winter, I would place it in the mall and have people come in and work during the year. So all in all, I mean, working 6 months out of the year was generating almost $60,000 a year in revenue.
Jeez,
so it wasn't
awesome.
Too bad for a college kid working 6 months out of the year.
No. So. Was that like the goal was to like help pay for the college and get you through that, or was it just
not really? No, it probably should have been, but it wasn't.
No, we blew it all. Yeah. Well, hey, that's a pretty awesome start. And you said you do. I know I've talked to you a lot about some of the other like business ideas and different things that. When you're trying to come up with different things, you kind of throw things up against the wall and see what sticks and what doesn't work or whatever. But that's kind of you just got to try so many things, and man, I feel like a lot of things can fail, but you just keep hammering away and try. Okay, that one failed. Well, let's try this. Has any other things besides like the rock wall and snow cones kind of stuck and been like, oh, or you haven't quite pursued yet, or any ideas or businesses or anything like that you're still like, yeah, I want to try this at one day, something like that?
Yeah, no, like I said, professional entrepreneurial failure, right? And I hear it quite often of, well, this didn't work or that didn't work. And I'm like, yeah, but my motto, I guess, that I try to stick with is I only got to be right once.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm right one time out of all the times, it doesn't matter if it's 100% correct or if I'm 0.00001% correct. Like if I'm right that one time, that could change a lot of different things, right? So
100%. Yeah, actually, my all-time favorite quote of ever in one while ago magazine even talked to me about my woodworking business or whatever, but they asked me what one of my favorite quotes was or whatnot, but it was by Thomas Edison. It was about his light bulbs. He's like, I haven't failed. He failed at the light bulb like 10,000 times or something, and he goes, I don't consider them failures. I just consider them like things that didn't work. So I learned from that until I got to the one. So eventually, hopefully we can all get to the one, right?
Yeah.
You know,
and that, I feel like that's part of a creativity thing too, right? Like, where do you, a lot of businesses for probably the past 5 years since the 2020 stuff has been more geared towards, the gig economy, right?
Yeah.
And so people are, all these digital creators come out for on Facebook or Reels or TikToks or YouTubes or whatever it is. I mean, was it Mr. Beast? I think was one of the very first ones for YouTube, and now he just bought I saw he bought a financial company.
Oh yeah, so these guys are getting crazy.
Yeah, and so like it pans out for them. It's just you got to have the tenacity to stick with it, I guess, right? And but you also have to figure out when to cut it off.
Right. Right. When, at what point do you go? Because sometimes, a lot of times, actually, most people will give up when things start to get. And it's like, man, if you can sit as an outsider and look at something and go, man, if you just push through that hard time, you probably could have made that work.
Right.
You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't like to try to. But on the flip side, there is times to just go, all right, we got to be done here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and in there it gives an example of how this. I don't know if it's an example, or I don't remember if it's an example or like real life, but it was one of those. You can dig for gold all you want, right? And it depends on when you stop and when you come up short, or because you can start to go through there and do it, and then you could stop 1 foot to hitting the gold vein, right?
Right.
And you're like, no, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. And then someone else comes in there and hits that first shot for the extra foot, and now they struck it rich or whatever, right? So, I mean, that's it's part of the risk. It's part of the reward, I guess, is kind of how it rolls. But at the same time, you got to figure out, how much more can you take and deal with, and
oh yeah,
it's a big toll on. I mean, like I said, I failed a lot, and I've been starting to realize the toll it takes. It's draining.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a massive drain.
It is, especially when you put, when it means so much to you too. Like there's always quick money ideas or this or that. I'm sure that you're like, oh yeah, I could do this, and there's 1,000 different little businesses that any Joe Schmo could start up, but when there's no heart or passion behind it, it's really hard to just be like, oh. So most of the ideas that you really want to pursue that are kind of risky, that do have that, is like it means a lot to you because it's like something you're excited about or you're passionate about, and then when it fails, you're like, man, I really wanted that one to work, you know? So, yeah, and like you said, like digging for gold, you get a foot. It was funny because just today I forgot the guy's name, Ryan something. He's like a long distance runner, ultra runner, like he does all these fitness stuff, and he came up with this theory like called one more step. So like he refuses to quit until he's like, well, just one more step. He like ended up writing it on the brim of his hat. It's like his motivation or whatever. He just said like, I force myself, like if I want to quit a training run or whatever, I say, okay, I can quit, but I have to do one more lap.
Yeah.
Or I can quit, but I have to do one more mile. Or in his case, like some of the ultra marathons and stuff like that he's done over time, it's like you get to a point on some of those where you're like, I can't physically move. And you go, okay, one more step. That's all. You take that step, you go, okay, I didn't die. Let's try one more step,
Yeah.
But I think that applies drastically through life and through everything else too. It's like, 100%. Well, one more try, and then if it kicks a can, then we'll go, okay.
Yeah, and it's one of those the same concept. You're one decision away from. If you ever think about it, you're literally one decision from changing your life and everybody else's life, good or bad, right? Because you can either have something great, and let's say you're like, I stop at the gas station, and I'm like, oh well, shit, I'll buy a lottery ticket, sure.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's $1 million lottery ticket. Oh shit, well that one decision just changed your whole life. Or at the same time, if you're driving down the road and you're like, a deer or a rabbit or something comes out in front of you and you're like, I'm not going to swerve. You just run over it. Well, there's one thing, right? But the second side of that is that if you swerve, you go into a tree.
Yeah.
Now your one decision just impacted, so it's always, you're kind of one decision away from changing everybody's life or your life and everybody you know and ever met. So
yeah, it's crazy when you step back and really try to examine things, because you can even step back farther and go, well, that one decision, I decided to stop and buy a lottery ticket just for fun, right? Say you don't win anything on the lottery, but because you stopped, you didn't get in that car accident that you were supposed to be in on the way home or whatever, or you avoided it, or maybe you did get into a car accident because you stopped and bought a lot. Yeah, everything has this like flow, and you're like, man, you sit there and you look back at it. But on the other side of things too, I think you just have to go with what you have at that moment. You got to go, okay, well, yeah, if I didn't do that, that wouldn't have happened, or this could have happened if I didn't do that. Well, it's done now. Let's try to figure out how to make it happen still, or not make it happen. Make that decision,
Going with that, and then if it was a negative, don't get stuck to the negative, because that's just going to breed and fester more negative shit. So now you're like, 100%. You think keep dwelling on this stuff, and I mean, there's studies out there that show that everybody, energy operates on a frequency. I'm not gonna do the whole, mind stuff or whatever, but it's one of those, it's true. You can do a frequency with sound and like how things vibrate in different frequencies that come through. There's a big old rabbit hole you can go down and everything else, but if you're always looking for negatives, you're always gonna find negatives. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah, that's true, and that's the hard thing. That's one thing that I am trying to like work on big time, because I feel like so many times like I cannot get over something. It's very hard for me to drop a bad thing.
You're not the only one.
And then which is a lot of people out there, but like I feel like something good happens or something amazing, and you're like, yes, and you celebrate it for an hour, and that's cool. And then something so minute, like the kids being bad over and over again, like it could ruin my whole day sometimes. And it's like, why am I letting this ruin? Like, it's like I have to just reset the whole day. The day's done now. Like, now I'm mad. Once I'm mad, I'm like, I'm done the rest of the day.
Hit the fan, I'm done.
Yeah, and it's like I like drastically trying to find different techniques and ways to try to fix that problem. So you can like move on past that quickly.
Right. I saw a quote too. It was been a while ago, probably 2 or 3 years, and it kind of got me thinking. I'm like, well, you got some points to it. So if you've got I can't remember the exact number, but how many seconds are in the day, right? And so think of it as in like apples. So say there's, I'll just do the math so I know what I'm talking about here. But if you've got on the spot here and doing math. No, this is not good. Here, this finance guy's doing math. He's wrong.
The power of the phone. Yeah, you better use your calculators. So people are like, well, we're not trusting him with our money.
60 seconds times 60 minutes times 24 times 365. Was that 31,000? I don't know. We'll go 31 million, 31.5 million. But the moral thing is, instead of dumb it down to the day, there's 86,400. That sounds about right in a day, seconds, right? So let's dumb this down and say I got a bushel of apples. I've got 10 of those apples out of the 86,000 that have mold on them. Yeah. Are you going to throw the whole freaking bushel out, the whole 86,000 out because 10 of them are bad? Yeah. Like, that's 10 seconds of your life. Is that worth being like, screw it? Like, there's, all the other 86,000, these suck. So they're going to go off the door. Yeah. Not necessarily. So, it happened. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Find something new. And I'll be the first one to tell you it's way easier said than done, because it
is. And I don't get it. And like, I've even tried to like ask the two boys, like my two boys, Grayson and Gavin, like, and I'm sure you experience the same thing. The one thing they've never been taught, they've never been anything, they can get into an all-out physical brawl where they are screaming at each other, hitting each other, saying they never want they're the worst brother in the world, whatever.
Yep.
Literally 10 minutes later, they're like, hey, you want to go downstairs and play again? Let's go play this. And they're totally fine and happy with each other. And I'm like, if that would have happened with me and like one of my adult friends, I probably would like X them off of my life for the next month. It's like, how did you? It took you guys 10 minutes to get over that. Like you were literally just saying like all sorts of stuff, and now it's just like, zip.
It's all good.
Maybe their brains are just firing so fast that it doesn't matter. But I'm not a child psychiatrist or anything. But it's like, man, if I could get that, that would be amazing. Like that's an amazing skill to have.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a child psychiatrist either, but I feel like a lot of that's also learned or taught behavior, right? So if you're kids, like they're all out here playing. Like if you ever watch a kid play on a tablet, they're gonna hit every button on that tablet to see what works and what doesn't. But you get someone that's like 60 or 70 years old out there, you give them a tablet for the first time, they're like,
oh, they got anxiety about pushing the wrong button.
Yeah, they don't want to push the wrong button. Whereas the kid's like, and you get like everything's up there, and you've got 50 million tabs open. I mean, here you go. I have, how many tabs do I have on my phone? I have 51 open on my phone, and then I have 141 that are inactive that hasn't been used in however long. So.
Yeah, 100%. That sounds like my phone.
ADD, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I feel like that's a part of it. Undiagnosed. That's I'm back to the business thing. That's probably part of my. I think that's part of my problems is I'll have like, oh yeah, I'll have like gun ho. I'll be 150% pedal to the floor for the first 24 or 48 hours, and I'm like, what else is over there?
Yeah.
Focus is 100%. A rough go, but
100%. I think we just have so much going on in our brains too, on top of that, as well as just being like parents and everything else. But like, yeah, I'm very, very similar. Like I will even get into like a hobby or something, and I'll be gung ho. I'll buy every accessory. I'll do everything else, and then I do it 3 times, and then that hobby just because then I found a different hobby. You know what I mean, or whatever, something else that I'm interested in. I have found that like throughout life, there's certain things that just kind of stick. And then those just generally evolve. The ones that really stick are the ones that are like clicked in your brain or whatever, So
I was like, we made laser engraved hangers for Declan's team, and so we went up to the place that you could pay to use their laser, and it was super cool. I was like, man, this thing's awesome. And then so I finally found one. I was like, I could do this, like make the business out of this, right? And then so I got the pricing, I got all this, and it was during Christmas time, so they had Black Friday sales, and I was like, oh, get this money off. I'm like doing this, and then I started like looking at it more. I'm like, oh, so that means I'd have to do, if I did just hangers, I'd have to do 84 hangers a day, or and stuff like that. So I do it through the more numbers of it. I'm like, this does not sound fun. And I'm like, this is a lot to go for it. And then it's like, well, I'm gonna have if you're making $3 a hanger, who's gonna buy a hanger for X amount of dollars? And if you do that, how many out of that $3, and you just spent $4,000 for this laser engraver that's does it all, right? Because you don't want to buy something that's small and you're like, oh, I need something bigger now. And it's like, well, I didn't pay for the first one because now I got too many orders, and now it takes too long to do this one, so now I got to get a bigger one. I want to start out with a bigger one. And and then it's like, well, if everything goes right and nothing breaks down, I could pay it off in 6 years. Like it's like you start doing those, like, maybe not. So
well, that's a good aspect to have, though. I think with your brain being able to, it cautions you a little bit. So like my brain, I'd be like all in, and then I'm like, oh crap, I spent all that money.
Hey, it's in the mail.
Goodbye. Like, oh boy, I didn't even think about the numbers, and then I was like, oh, I'm definitely not making any money on this. Like I've committed to different. I've ate it quite a few times in some of the woodworking projects and stuff that I've done, and it's like I'll like be like, oh yeah, I can do this, and here's your quote or whatever. And I've learned to slow down and really like now I have to start quoting off of like prices that I find for different woods and different things like at Home Depot or Lowe's or something, which is quite a bit more than some of the other local sawmills and this and that. But just in case I can't find that at that good deal, like I started quoting their prices because I was eating it too much. Because I was like, oh, now he doesn't have any walnut today at the sawmill that is ready to go and whatever for the project. Yeah, it was half the price of what Lowe's is, but I can't make this project for another 9 months if I have to wait for it to get dried and everything else. So it's like, well, I guess I'll just buy it at this price, and that just took away all of my whatever, all of my profit off of this. But I still want to just get the project done for them. But it's like,
that having a buffer to be like, hey, if everything doesn't go right, like, because nothing ever goes to plan. Not ever. I mean, I don't think I've ever had anything go to plan.
Yeah.
Except maybe some vacations, but even at that, you're like, oh well, budgeted $800 for food for the week. Well, it's $1,500. So like with budgeting, if I try to figure out something now, my first go-to is to figure out profit first. Like I want to make sure that I'm going to make X amount of dollars, and so then you start to build in, well, how does that profit relate to per item? And then you just work it backwards, because some places say, well, I want this much sales and this is my cost in that, and then whatever's left over is my profit. Well, it's one way. That's the way a lot of people do it. But if you wanted to say, I need to make this amount of money, this is my go get, right? This is what I expect. This is your go get. So,
do you feel like so? And this is a little off of what we were talking, but I wanted to make sure I asked you this because I was thinking about this the other day. So we're pretty darn close to the same age. So we kind of grew up around the same time. And like, as far as like when you were a kid, like we were kind of like, I don't know the exact terms people use. Some people use turnkey kids where you got a key and you just like in first grade, you got home with a key from school and both your parents were at work or nobody was home. You turned the key and went inside or when the street lights come on, just make sure you get back home.
Right.
Like obviously the world has changed a lot, but I feel like our kids have a little bit of that leeway, but like was there some uniqueness to what you felt your childhood was compared to what your kid's childhood is like in today's world versus what it was back then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of everything going on too. So it was just something that I was like, man, it was such a different time, and it's not like I don't want to sound like old, like what our parents were like, oh, I walked to school both ways. The whole thing. But it's like it really was a lot different. Now it's like trying to, I feel like when we were growing up,
how much of a leash do you give your kids?
We were like 5 years old and our parents were going out to dinner dates and we were like, oh, I guess we'll just watch TV or do something. Just don't burn the house down. Now it's like
on that topic though too, like I felt like when I was younger, I had, if my mom and dad want to go someplace, it was, grandma and grandpa would come watch me and they were just right down the road or, 15, 20 minutes away. And I mean, my parents are, my mom has passed away, but my dad's an hour and 20 minutes away and my in-laws are 50 minutes away. So I feel like a lot of people are moving around farther too. They might not have that local support to go watch. And so that's part of it. But, growing up, we lived in the country. There was pretty much nobody on my road. My block was a 4-mile block, and you have more leeway out there. I won't get into details because I don't know how long driving under with no age limit driving cars is. But my friend was on the same. My best friend when I was younger was on the same block, kitty corner on the other side of the block. So sometimes we'd ride bikes, sometimes we'd drive 4-wheelers, we'll say, to each other's house, right? But it was my childhood was filled up with sports. I did track, I did football, started to do basketball, and then I kind of stopped my sophomore year to try to focus on track because it's fairly decent, which I hear you were pretty badass too at track. So
I kind of did the same thing.
Yep. And so my freshman, sophomore year, I started to go like almost every weekend, drive an hour. Actually, I went to Siena Heights I was about an hour and 20 minutes away to work on pole vault almost every weekend. So my coaches would take me there to work on pole vault during the winter instead of doing basketball, and that's kind of how everything worked out because I felt like I was pretty good at baseball too. And so when it came time to choose, track or baseball, it's a decision because, some places allow you to do dual sport. My school wouldn't allow you to do dual sports. You had to choose one or the other. And I don't know what the deal was, but I sat there and I'm like, if I want a scholarship, it's way harder to get a baseball scholarship than it is a track scholarship. So I was like, I'm going to do track. And it worked out. I still love to play baseball. I mean, I love to watch my kids play baseball.
Yeah.
On that same topic though, if you try to teach a kid how to play baseball, they're like, you're dating. What do you know?
Dads don't know nothing.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you know what? If I had a cell phone camera back then, you could see, but you can't. So I pull out this grainy video of me pole vaulting, and here's what I used to do, and it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I felt like I was. I would like to say I was, my parents within reason. I mean, I was usually in bed by 9:30 every night.
Yeah.
Had a girlfriend in high school, and it was most of my time was spent with her. And looking back at it, I actually told my little brother, I was like, I got one piece of advice for you: don't have a girlfriend in high school.
Yeah.
Go out,
go have fun.
do your thing, have fun. Hang with your friends, and all that stuff. And so it was. I don't know. My parents were lenient. They were, my dad worked third shift. My mom worked days. So I'd get home on the bus at like 3:15, and then I wouldn't see anybody till 5. Yeah. My dad would be sleeping when I got home because, third shift, he goes to bed at he would go to bed like 10 a.m. and get up at, 4 or 5, eat dinner with us, stay for 2 hours, and then go back to bed for another 2-3 hours, and then go to work. And so it was, we lived on almost 300 acres, and we had pellet guns, we had .22s, we had guns to go shoot birds, and basketball hoop. And
is that where your dad still lives out there?
Yep.
So he still, that's where you guys hunt, right?
Yep.
Every once in a while. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So you mentioned dinners. Another thing that I noticed, and we've actually tried to. It's tough. I get it, like with everybody's schedules and stuff, but like I feel like when we were growing up, like more than not, probably at least 5 out of 7 days of the week, we actually sat down and had a family dinner.
100%.
It's tough with sports schedules and everything else. Some days it's like we gotta just throw food in a crock pot and be like, listen, you guys, if you're home for 10 minutes, you got to figure out when to eat because we're just driving all over the place. But we still, I do think that like that is a important aspect. Like, what do you guys try to do it? Like, if you have the ability to, when you're not
100%,
running around and
100%.
Sit down
if we don't have anything going on, even if we do, we try to do it. But
even if it's
hey guys, we got 10 minutes. Let's sit down, pray, eat, and we're gone. So it's one of those. It's funny because like my wife and I, we'll hold hands for to pray for before we eat, and then our boys. Back to the whole like bickering thing. This is their holding hands.
I can't touch.
I'm like, what are you doing?
I can't touch you, but they really.
Yeah, and so if I had to put a number on it on a weekly basis, and it kind of sucks, but where everybody's actually sitting down at the table to eat at the same exact time, we're lucky we get 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
and it's just with baseball starting up. I feel like when we were younger, your sports schedules were after school and that was it. Oh. You went from 3 to 5 and that was it.
100%. Insane, man.
Now it's like 3 to 5 is one sport, 7 to 9 is another sport, and so on. Like our oldest plays high school. We're here in Lenawee County, but their practice is in Washtenaw County. So we drive 35-40 minutes 3 or 4 days a week because there's no ice time for them to practice here. There's not enough ice here in Adrian or Lenawee County for them to practice in Lenawee County, even though it's Lenawee United. But
that's a business idea right there. We need to build a barn and
I've got to play it out. I just need we just need to find some investors to make it work because that's a whole nother topic if you want to get in that conversation.
Yeah.
Private equity has gotten into the business of a lot of ice hockey, and so they're actually buying a lot of the Midwest and East Coast rinks that are not municipalities, and they're, they come in there and they're like, oh, well, let's turn the heat off. So I'll bring my propane heater in there. You tell me no, I'll tell you turn your damn heat on.
Yeah.
And they turn the heat off and they go, magically, whenever they bought the rinks or whatever, now the ice it's broke, it doesn't work. Bullshit. People they have turned it on more now, but it's at the same time, I feel like they know that they have you by the balls, and that's kind of that, because they're gonna come in here and buy these rinks, slap their logo on it, put a little capital to it if they need to, I guess, but for the most part, they're gonna jack up the prices, because what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
it's not like you can't go across the street to the next ball diamond and play. The rinks are not a dime a dozen around here.
It's a straight monopoly. Like 100%. There's only one.
And so, like, what do? You're gonna tell your kid you can't play sports, or you're gonna go, another 50 minutes in the other direction, or an hour in the other direction, or an hour and 20 the other direction. And guess what? They don't have ice time either, so it's not like you can take your team over there.
Yeah.
So they know they're buying strategically these rinks around here, knowing that parents cannot afford to leave, or it sucks to say, but parents won't tell their kids no. I'm guilty of it, that you can't play the sport because, hey, ice time is, they jack the prices up.
Oh yeah.
Here you go. So
speaking of that, I give you props on the hockey, because that was one thing I was like, I drew the line. Both of my boys were like, can we play hockey? Because Meg's job and everything. I was like, you know what? I will bend over backwards for any sport out there, but hockey's off the plate for us boys. Like, unless you don't want to play anything else, or like, it's just it's a very cool sport, but it's really hard to get especially multiple kids and multiple, like, ice rinks and everything else, and teams and everything else. It has to be the hardest sport to maintain your kids, like,
it's not cheap, but and especially if you have kids that grow constantly, like your kids are tall too, like they're gonna grow a lot. So our oldest is 15, but he's 6'5".
Yeah.
We went through a 3-year period where we bought him new equipment each year.
Yeah.
And it's not like, over here, I mean, this is, $1,500 to $2,000 each year minimum. I mean, there was one year where his skates were enough. 4 digits was the normal price.
Yeah.
They gave it to us for 3 digits, just slightly under the 4-digit mark. And it's funny because I was telling someone this the other day. I was like, when we first started hockey, Katie went to the center and was running on the treadmill, and she was running next to someone. And she's like, oh, my kid plays hockey in Fort Wayne. And we're like, oh man, that's a long way to drive. We would never drive that far for hockey. That's a long way. And she's like, yeah, we just spent like $1,200 on skates. And again, our response was like, oh hell no. We're going to Dunham's. We're going to Dick's Sporting Goods. We're gonna get the $120 pair of skates, and this is what you're rolling with. That was the first year.
Yeah. And then you're like,
oh shit.
Like, we can't do this anymore.
No. And there's like, different quality skates. If you're gonna buy a $120 pair, some places they work great. But some, not all kids are the same. Our oldest has like sensitive can we push pause?
Yeah, you're good.
I think that was Katie.
No, you're good.
Or school, one of the two. Someone's sick or something.
Yeah.
Quinn's not feeling well.
So we had to take a quick pause because Adam got a call from school. Kid was sick and has a fever. So that's pretty much normal parent stuff, right in the middle of when you're trying to do something and have a little fun. It happens. So he's got to run. We will continue this at maybe in the morning. Yep. We're not sure.
Figure it out.
I don't know. If you see a drink, it might have been just like a rough morning. We'll just say it's in the afternoon, okay? But we'll pick it up and go from there. So don't be alarmed if you see all of a sudden we're in different clothes. See you guys. Yep.
These skills, these scars, these stories we're keeping. Teaching our kids how to stand while the world keeps beating. From busted up hands to mended hearts and glory. These skills these scars and stories.